Hello, and welcome to the Brothers and Influence podcast, where we stand to encourage, inspire, and add value to Black men in the areas of life, leadership, and community. We consist of five brothers discussing relevant topics with candor and care. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We are in the building. If you don't know me, my name is Ian Williams, your purpose coach. You can find me on Twitter at Son of the King 02 and on Instagram on my new page at Ian Coaches.
Okay.
And listen,
Yes,
we
sir. I like
out
that.
here. I'm excited. As week to week, I get to sit shoulder to shoulder with these men who inspire and encourage and add value to me on a day-to-day basis. So I want to make sure that I prime the stage and get y'all ready for them to introduce themselves. And it's just a matter of who wants to kick us off.
All right. Shante Price once again. Since his Ian Coaches, you can reach me over there too. So it ain't Ian Coach, it's Coach It. So you can reach me over there too.
Yes, sir.
Shante Price, with my name on all social media networks. I am your leadership and financial coach.
Let's go.
That's what's up. Hey, it is Sherrod Ledet, your leadership locksmith, coming at you once again. Glad to be on here with these fine young men, my brothers, that I love dearly. But you can also find me on LinkedIn and all the other social media platforms at Sherrod Ledet. Again, leadership locksmith, personal development, and leadership development.
Awesome. Hey everyone, Lorenzo Daughtry Chambers here. You can find me at Win with Lorenzo, and my purpose, my goal is to help you win. I'm a solutions finder. So usually people have they get to this point where there's one thing, one solution that they can find that helps jumpstart them and move them to the next level. That's what I specialize in. And I'm so happy to be here with my brothers, my friends, to be in discussion about something so relevant this evening. And so I want to encourage you also. We want to encourage you to go ahead and to share and to like and to subscribe on whatever platform you're participating on. We want to be connected with you. Send us a DM and let's go. I'm just so happy to be here.
Yeah. Listen, if you've been rocking with us, if you've been listening, if you've been watching the stream, you've been catching us, even if you caught us later, we have a tendency to go into the deep real quick, right? We take no prisoners around here at the Brothers and Influence podcast. We ain't scared, as they might say in certain places, right? So we just want to take an opportunity to just catch up, man. Let y'all know what's going down. How my brothers doing, right? That's what I want to know. Because we all busy, right?
Right, yeah.
How y'all doing, man?
Yeah. Well, I just said do a quick shout out, even though it was yesterday, happy Father's Day, right? To everybody, all the men, all the fathers. Yeah, happy Father's Day. Yeah.
Big shouts.
Big shouts, man. So speaking of Father's Day, so yesterday I had a good time, right? I was wore out. I had to I preached yesterday. And then I came home and cut the grass yesterday. And then I had to kick it with the family yesterday.
Man, why we not hearing about you preaching yesterday, bro?
I didn't say that out loud.
On the live stream?
No, I said that out loud. Did I say that out loud?
You did. You
said that out loud.
He trying to be slick.
I'm gonna have some choice words for you.
I would have tuned in.
You would have tuned in. Hey, that's probably why
I would have drove down. Man, like 5 hours.
Where is my belt?
You gonna whoop me? Hey, my daddy tried to whoop me the other day too. He's like, bro, 41 don't mean nothing. I'm gonna get these licks.
Yeah, man. That's what's up, bro.
Yeah,
man.
But other than that, man, I enjoyed my Father's Day yesterday. Got a lot of good gifts. Got you know, all that good stuff, you know, socks, underwear, and stuff like that. No, I'll play. No, but yeah, it was cool just kicking it with the family. Then went out to where we go, Texas Roadhouse. So
Okay,
yeah, it was cool.
that's what's
It
up.
was cool. So
Got you some of them rolls with the honey cinnamon
man,
butter.
the roll. Come on,
Hey,
man.
yeah,
Hey, yeah,
I'm with it.
yeah. I had
I'm
two
with it.
baskets. Two baskets myself.
Okay. See, listen, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Transparency.
Yes. Speak your truth, sir.
Yes, sir. No shame.
Oh man. So my Father's Day was good. Big shout out to my wife and my kids. Shout out to all of our wives, all of our children, all of our women. If you're a man on the line, big shouts to your lady. So when my daughter's 3, my son is 6 months, and so there's this whole conversation around like single women being wished happy Father's Day. My mom was a single mom, even though my father was in my life, right? And so I found myself, and I didn't say this to her, but I'm saying this publicly, so now I have to say it to her.
Oh,
But I found myself saying, you know what? My wife deserves a happy Father's Day too, because she definitely holds it down in all realms. And I'm discerning that is woman. Right, whether you are a biological mother or a biological father, there are roles that you play in the lives of people. So that was a major epiphany I had. And then other than that, y'all know, I had the vaccine last week, and it completely knocked me out. It was my second dose of the vaccine, so I was in bed like, oh man, it was crazy.
Oh, so you got the second shot that put you down.
Yeah, the first one was cool. The second one, I went through the day. The doctor was like, you should take some Tylenol, usually 8 to 12 hours. I'm like, I'm good. I can handle it. I'm a stocky guy. And no, I was in bed for like 2 days.
Under the covers, talk about.
hey man, you know what? That was just probably your body telling you to slow down because you don't sleep.
I know. Oh, come on, you gonna put me out there, bro? Yeah, that's true. I felt so good. It was such a revelation.
boy.
You know what?
Yeah, imagine that. You went to sleep.
The body was like, okay, yeah, I see you, partner. We're going to lay out for a day. That's what we're going to do.
It's true. Oh, that's so good.
Shantae, what's up, man?
Man,
How was your Father's Day?
Good. Well, you guys know I work on the weekends, but hey, I can't complain, man. It was great. Like we kind of talked about last week, just being a feeling and knowing that I'm a better father than I was the day before, right?
Wow.
And just like we talk about life, leadership, and community. That life, just enjoying life in general. And learning more how to be that man, because the week before we talked about fatherhood and manhood, right? And relations to our health, because this is men's mental health. I mean, not men's, but health month. So, yeah, man, it's great. Got my 3-year-old. I know she loves me. If anybody else don't love me, right? A kid gonna let you know that they love you.
We love you too.
That's right, bro.
It's she's 3, so she's talking more. Coming into her own. So it's just something amazing every day. So yeah.
That's what's up.
Man.
If I can put a plug real quick, brothers, Shantae was mentioning that he's working consistently. He has many different business ventures as entrepreneurs do. One of them is a shop, a health and wellness shop. I get products from him. He's able to speak with you, advise you on some things. Sherrod is about to pull up a box that he got, fellas. Listen,
got it today, player. Got it today.
Fellas, listen. When we have our private men's meeting, that's why you need to DM us, sign up. When we have our private men's meeting, we'll speak more about this. But you need to speak with Shantae, and maybe even do a consultation with him. He'll do it with you free free of charge. We ain't trying to get nothing from you. We're trying to get something to you. He'll do a consultation and let you know, but he has some holistic wellness products.
Yep.
I'm gonna give that a round of applause myself.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. I'm the only one that hadn't gotten anything yet, so I need that consultation, bro. I was just talking to you earlier today. I'm behind the curve. Yeah. I need some oils. I need some oils.
Oh, we most definitely got plenty of them for you. Oh, we got the bangers. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, the best ones, you got to get 2, because if you get 1, I guarantee you the next, after you get it, when we talk next, your wife gonna been unjacked. That's always the story. They buy 1 and they can come back like, man, my wife took it, because there's a lot of unisex, oil. So yeah, you just giving you a heads up.
Well, I'm about to put mine in the locked drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be, but what's super real about this also is that, especially as we're in this time of pandemic, we need to make sure that we are fortifying our immune systems. We need to make sure that we're doing things to make ourselves healthy, right? Brothers and influence, life, leadership, and community. So as leaders, we're sharing that we need to prepare our immune systems and what that means and looks like. So there are probably some supplements. Now, we're not doctors, we're not advising you, but there are things like CMOS, things like, you can go into so many different immunity building and enhancing vitamin Ds and zincs and all of these types of things. Again, we're not doctors, but it's important that you just get into the world of being healthy. And maybe that's the other reason we're bringing up this conversation too. We want to encourage you with Brothers in Influence to prepare yourself for the next wave. We know that this panorama isn't over yet. And so we want to prepare ourselves for the next wave of what's coming. And that does mean like building up our immune systems in real time. So,
yeah, that's really important. Just health, right? Just being healthy. I would hope that this, as my brothers say, this panorama, that we begin to at least think more about health, because that's one thing. Even with people that have got COVID, that's a lesson learned. That oftentimes the doctor will tell you, you may not have been taking as good of care of yourself, even if you weren't eating just crazy. But because of the world we live in, supplements are essential. And that's just in general. Supplements are essential because we don't get a lot of the things we need nowadays because of how food is processed and things like that. So
those are just facts, brother. Those are facts.
We're always on the move. But whatever products we use in heavily processed, soaps and deodorants and all sorts of things that can affect your body chemistry. And
we got them for you too. We got the natural soaps and deodorants, toothpaste. We got it all.
There you go. All right, man. See, now I need to wrangle y'all. Y'all already in the deep end. Y'all, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Don't get me though, because Lorenzo went first though, player.
Yeah,
so
I know.
I'm snitching. Wow. Yeah, Lorenzo went first.
I did it. It was me.
And I got on the call and they were like, yeah, how did that work out? I'm like, what y'all talking about? Oh, I need some.
Yeah, man. And I ain't gonna throw no further shade, but my Father's Day, since nobody asked me, was good.
I was just about to ask you. I was swallowing. I wasn't want to spit on the mic. Hey, brother Ian, how was your Father's Day?
We already gonna we gonna get Shawty clients. So I understand it's okay. Sorry, y'all need what Shawty got. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, no, my weekend was good, man. We
had already told me plus though.
Huh?
Oh, don't make no excuses.
But yeah, my weekend was good, man. We had a double dose because for us it was not only Father's Day on Sunday, but it was Juneteenth on Saturday. Come on now.
Yes, sir. Come on now. Come on.
And I didn't have my normal annual cookouts. I had, some other family circumstances to deal with. But once that was passed, I found myself in one of my favorite restaurants. I'm not gonna name them because I ain't promoting them. They ain't paying me. But I tell you, it was some well seasoned seafood. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Where I was at. Some seafood, some dirty rice. You know what I'm saying? It was delicious. It was delicious, and that was, the joy of the Lord was with me. I'll say that. I'll just say that. I made it home and got to spend the afternoon with my wife and my son, and my wife was doing the most, taking care of everything. So shout out to her. She made it a great Father's Day. I had to bust out the Fred Hammond in the kitchen. I said, baby, you know how I'm feeling? And she was like, how you feeling? I said, blessed. So yeah, man, it was good for me to take a break because I've been busy, and as we've been discussing, we're trying to develop some healthful habits.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hashtag healthful habits, as it is hashtag Men's Health Awareness Month, right? And so that's what we're talking about as far as linking up with Shawty and taking advantage of his natural products that can help you get push that stiff arm. It'll say stiff arm the processed stuff and really start to take care of your whole self.
And what's real about that too?
So we're gonna prescribe some of them natural things. The Shawty guy, you can reach out to him and order that. We also gonna prescribe the Brothers in Influence podcast because we're gonna help you get over.
Yes, sir.
All right, so what I'm saying, is it podcast time, fellas? Now that we done caught up to podcast time.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I'm feeling good. Anybody else got anything to say?
That Shawty isn't like. I was going to make a joke. I'm not going to make that joke because it wouldn't come across well. But
how you going to announce it? And then
so what I was going to say, because I'm going to have to qualify, is going to take another 45 seconds. So Shawty in his basement brewing up products, right? The qualification is if he was in his basement brewing up products, that would be okay as long as he's following the safety mechanisms that he needs to. But he's sourcing products from the best of the best around the world. I think that's important to know too. We're not just pushing Shawty's products, which is fine, but he also has different things that he's sourcing from practitioners around the world. So no shade or disrespect to any entrepreneur. By the way, Ian, love your hat. Because the drop shipping model is super hot for entrepreneurs. So if you are making products in your basement, like, more power to you. And just do it safely. That's all.
Man, we got a whole commercial and a disclaimer.
Get off my man. Get on up off my man.
We appreciate you, brother. You're looking out to take care of us.
Hey, he is on another one today, hey,
I was about to say he is cutting up. I kind of like it though.
He's acting a straight fool. That's cool though.
It's in the vein. I'm telling you, because it could be, we up here joking and somebody's life could be saved. It might not begin with Shawty, but because we keep going in about it so much, somebody might go around to the corner health food store or something and just pick up some fruit. Like, you know what I mean? Something, get your health right, brothers. We don't need y'all.
Get your health right.
And at the end of the day, it's about, even with what Lorenzo is saying, our podcast is about life, leadership, and community. So even if you did talk to me, it isn't about you getting something from me. So I want you to understand that too. I want the best for you because of who you are. Right. And that's what we're here for. We're not here just for us. We're here for those who will see this in the next 30 seconds or in the next year.
Yeah. And
just say to themselves, you know what? Let me look into this. Or maybe I need to take better care of myself. Let me see what I can do different than I've been doing it.
Let me go see really a doctor.
About. Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's dope. Let me go check in with my health. That's what
consulting is, right? We find solutions. And that means that we may not have the solution, but we can help you find it. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. What we talking about today?
Yeah. We talking about some anger management.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I have to jump in on
with
this.
That, we got healthy in front of it. What does that look like? I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Healthy anger management.
Healthy anger management.
Well, I know the word says be angry and sin not.
Uh-oh.
So, that tells me that, and if you just think about it, and we often take words and we go the extreme with them, right? It's just like people tell somebody they hate them when they're in an argument. You don't really mean you hate them. It's in the heat of the argument, but that word still has power and has impact. It can hurt, it can shatter, right? It can tear down, and so when I think about anger, so I'm gonna give you an example of something I did because I was angry.
Uh-oh.
So I was angry and frustrated. So I just left, and it was gone for 4 or 5, 6 hours because I was angry, because I didn't want to deal with the situation.
Okay.
Whereas as a man, I should have dealt with the situation. I should have sat down with my significant other and had the conversation, no matter how difficult it may have been. At the point, I was immature and I didn't get it and I didn't understand it, and I do now. So that's one of the stories I think of when I think about anger and anger management, and that's something that didn't take place overnight, but it's a learning experience. I had to learn after that situation. I had to come back, and so now there's a conversation that needs to be had, right? And another thing I'll say, us as a man, if we can learn to humble ourselves, we can get a lot from the women that are in our lives. Because women, I think women are like dentists. If we let them, they can pull the right teeth, right?
Oh wow.
So,
okay.
So that's my. I wanted to share that example, but so I most
Hold
definitely
on, man.
wanted
You gotta
share that
you gotta draw that one out a little
real
bit.
life.
Yes, I agree, Ian.
If we let them, they're gonna pull teeth. I need more on that one, bro.
The women.
Uh-huh.
I'm just want to give me some more. Okay, so when we think about women, right? Because we say that they're our better half, our significant other. Some men will say they're our missing rib, talking about the Bible. We say all these things about who women are to us as men. And when we say these things, what's up, little man?
Wait.
What's up, man?
And we have to be real, and
I'll be on another hour.
when we say those things,
Ian, we can hear you, bro.
We have to recognize that they are those things. Because if I say my better half, I'm saying to myself that something is missing. And that's why I once again about the words are important. We got to watch what we just say. Oh, hey, introduce. Hey, who's this? Oh, this is Sherelle. This is my fiance. That alone is powerful. But how many people say that just to say it? How many people have no plan of marrying that person and they say things like that, right? And so that's why I say it's if we allow them to, man, women are, man, God's, when we talk about God's creation, he did it. He created us, but he did it when he created them. I gotta be honest about it. That's just reality. Because, and so when I go to the dentist, I'm going expecting a few things. And I gotta go to the dentist in a couple weeks, me and my daughter. So teeth cleaning. So I'm going to get my teeth cleaned. Now, I'm not only going to get my teeth cleaned, they're going to look at my teeth too and make sure everything's good. But what if you just went to the dentist and they just clinked your teeth and said, okay, bye, see you later. Would you go back to that dentist? No. Right. So even within our relationships, there's give and takes, there's growth, all those things are relevant, but we have to be able to like I say, humble ourselves. We're men. Men, we that ain't a good word for us oftentimes. But we just gotta humble ourselves. That don't mean we have to be wrong. That don't mean they have to be right. It only means that we're engaging in some relational communication.
Mm.
And so when I say pull the teeth, if we allow women to do what they were created to do for us, or should I say with us, they're able to pull the right teeth so that that cavity that was in the back, it can get out properly. My mouth won't get infected. I won't have a swell up like this somewhere because I got an issue. And guess what? Now I'm better now. A little blood. What? I'm gonna have to put some gauze in my mouth. There's gonna be a little blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? When it's all said and done, after 3-4 hours, I can take the gauze out. I'm good. I really can't eat how I want to, but guess what? I can drink a little bit. Take my little time, and that's what women do to us. And we have to allow it though. Too often we don't allow it. So, I don't know if I know I kind of went a little bit, but
No,
Man, you went to the bottom of the ocean with that one, man.
yeah, that's a strong point. And
Yeah, no, it's sorry. Go ahead, Lorenzo.
no, go ahead. Because I'm gonna take it someplace else. Keep going, bro.
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, that's you can tell that you're speaking from experience. Learn you. I don't want to say learning the hard way. I mean, unless you say that, but I mean, honestly, that's how I've learned a lot the hard way, and it comes with age almost, where you start to try and figure out, like, how can I learn some other different type of way? Can I just gain some wisdom without having to get beat over the head? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's one of those things that just come with age.
Or a mentor.
So yeah, first of all, I want to commend you for just for sharing that. I mean, you taught a whole lesson right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Liz.
No, I was gonna say also that's what a mentor or a coach does, closes the gap, whoever it happens to be. But in that vein, brothers, I hope you can hear a man with experience, right? Even in Shawty's share, what I heard, even though you didn't say it explicitly, what I heard you say was, and correct me or fill in, but you were in a situation with your woman, your wife, your boo thing, for intents and purposes of the story. And y'all were in the middle of a discussional situation, and instead of dealing with the discussional situation, you dipped out for like a couple of hours, like 5 or 6 hours. Like, how common of a response is that? Whether the dude jumps up right then and there, or he just gets going for a weekend, right? How many guys have you heard the story of, like, their dad just didn't come home the whole weekend, right? And so often we place it on the blame of our sisters, of our women, when really what we're hearing and what we're admitting, what we're being in confidence with one another about, is it's an internal coping mechanism, because we don't have the structures to deal with it, and we don't have healthy anger management, which is the topic of today. So we do these kinds of things that are self-destructive, and then we get mad at ourselves and end up in this kind of a cycle. And so that's what also really struck me about your share, Shawty, that I wanted to highlight for guys. Like, you've done this too. Like, Shawty's not just telling a story, but like you've been ghost. If it's not with your significant other, it's with your family, it's with a responsibility, it's with an obligation. And so this is so real because all of us deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a basic fight or flight. The way we quote the cope is to avoid or to escape.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've done it over the years where, I think most of us on here are introverted in some way or another, but like I withdraw, I go inwardly. My wife's like, "Why are you shutting down?" And so she's got a phrase. There's a song that talks about roofing the ball. She'd be like, "Why you roof the ball? If you get it, you know what I'm saying? Like if you play, you know, pitchback football or kickball or whatever when you was growing up, like the kid that storms off the field, throws the ball on the roof, like I'm done.
Nobody can play. We all gonna have a bad time.
Right. That's what my wife was. She's like, "Why you roof the ball for?" No, we having a discussion. So,
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's super dope. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've learned, like, you know, like I've talked about this before. But I think one of the bigger things, almost 10 years. We'll be 10 years in March 2022.
March what? What day?
10th.
Okay, we're the
March
21st,
10th.
Sarah and I. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so 10 years in, one of the most basic things and most impactful things that I've learned is when times get tough, you have to turn to each other and not from each other.
Huge.
You have to and it's just so simple, it's common sense, but like, you know, when you got two people in that are connected and they don't really have anywhere to go to get away from each other, because you're not meant to get away from each other, but you feel like it. Turn away from each other and you start looking for other things to cope with, and ultimately it's just gonna lead to somewhere that you ain't got no business going.
Say that.
Absolutely.
Instead
in a
of
relationship context, which usually means other women. Sorry, go ahead, E.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
Other men, to not even discriminate.
Other women. I mean, any number of you know, it could turn into addictions, like anything. I mean,
yeah.
It's not gonna end well, basically. But definitely in the realm of other women, whatever you're using to cope. It could be something as simple as video games. It could be, you know, where you just you clock out on family. You in there for hours.
Yeah. You start getting that bottle every week.
Yep.
You start seeing the man on the
by
corner.
The liquor store every day.
Yeah. Start going to the dispensary a little bit more regularly.
Yep. And so, so I've learned. It's one of those things I've had to learn the hard way. Turn to my wife instead of away from her, and that's, you know, and it's this. I believe that she would say the same. She, you know, we both came from. We're both introverts, so it's naturally for kind of us to withdraw and kind of go to our own devices, to maintain and even to exercise control. Because if you're in a situation where you don't feel like you have any influence over the environment or control over the environment, then it's only natural that you seek space where you can have some control over things. And I'm not talking about like from a controlling, you know, megalomatic type of stuff. I'm talking about just like I'm trying to maintain peace, and I'm turning to this other thing because I'm finding peace here. I'm trying to feel like I'm useful or I have something to offer. So I'm home is jacked up, but I'm going over here because such and such needs help, and they feel like I can help them. You know what I'm saying? They feel like I'm helpful. They make me feel helpful.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and look, we got brother Andre Nelson in the chat. I just want to shout him out real quick. He posted in here. He says, "Healthy anger management to me means not being vindictive, not feeling like I have the power to dominate, hurt others, or feeling like I'm in control. It's communicating clearly and constructive and not holding on to it for a long period of time." Yes, sir, brother. Appreciate you, brother Andre, for tuning in and sharing that with us. I agree wholeheartedly. I think that's kind of the spirit of me turning towards my wife instead of away from her. Mm-hmm. Recognizing that whatever's going on, she and I are for each other, right? And the relationship comes first. As a matter of fact, I remember when we sat down with one of our pastors and one of our trusted confidants, and basically, I mean, he was like, he's actually the one that told us that. He said, turn to each other, not from each other, and recognize that the institution of marriage is bigger than you both. And it's not even about you, and it's not about you. Yeah. It's about the institution.
That's good.
And so that gave us so much perspective when we were able to step back and be like, yeah, it ain't about what I want at the end of the day. And you know, when you both able to say that, There's nothing that can come between you.
Yeah, that's man, that what he said, healthy anger management to me means not being vindictive. That was my thing, man. I would, I could lay in wait for the revenge.
When's your birthday, by the way?
My birthday?
Yes.
In March 4th.
March 4th.
So I'm real patient. So to me, you can do something to me and I would sit back and like, I'll get you. A couple of years, you're gonna forget about it. I'm saying literally, and this was, of course, this 20 years ago now, but that tendency, that thought is still there sometimes to think like that. And I think that's what's important. That even people think, a lot of people, they say if they believe if they think about something, that's the problem. But thinking about something in the problem is what you do with the thought that's going to dictate if there is a problem or not.
Yeah.
And just for a biblical reference, it talks about taking every thought captive. And see, if I take it captive, it has no power over me because I've replaced it. I've took it under control and I've replaced it.
Right.
And I think that's important for me. I'm not vindictive. That ain't my thought pattern anymore to think about, what, you got me now, I'm going to get you later.
Yeah. Talk about having your mind renewed, right?
Yes. Man, we missing somebody. Ain't heard from somebody.
Wow. What you think about brother Nelson's statement here?
Hey, I'm just over here listening to all y'all brothers just drop some knowledge, man. But what Andre said, I mean, I agree. I think the biggest thing when we think about anger management that jumps out to me is just the fact that, again, it's that emotional component, right? That's what anger is.
Yeah.
And when we think about, or at least when I think about it from the perspective of men, emotions is the one thing that we don't talk about. So when I think about anger management, and even just from the perspective of relationships, right? I think that even for us, we're always the one that's on the end of saying, hey, you need anger management, right? Not understanding the fact that it is, again, an emotional perspective that we have to have control over, right? It's having control over, again, those emotions that are taking place. And usually the reason why we get angry is because it's emotion that we don't know how to deal with, but it's the one thing that, because we don't know how to deal with it, we're like, and then you explode because it doesn't have nowhere else to go. So it comes out, right, naturally, based on what it is that what we can compare ourselves, or what it comes natural to us, right? Not saying that being angry is being natural, but that's just a natural response. Because if I don't know what to do, I get frustrated. If I'm frustrated, then I'm angry, right? So it's just getting control over those emotions, right? And then again, I like what he said, like not feeling like I have to dominate, even not dominating over someone else, but even from the perspective of anger management is being able to understand to, again, as Shate said, captive, right? Taking those emotions captive so they don't dominate me. Because if they're not dominating me, that means now I have better control over them. Now, again, easier said than done. Easier said than done. But after 41 years, I think I've gotten a little bit better at it. Right? And again, being an introvert, I do roof the ball every now and then. I roof it, right? I might even kick it smooth over the roof into the other yard, like you just ain't gonna find the ball. It's just gone, right? But I definitely agree. And the communication, I mean, I think is the key to anything, but definitely the anger management, right? Being able to communicate how you're feeling or what's going on. Right. Being able to stand up as a man and sit there and have the conversation, right? Not to get into your feelings, but have the conversation.
Yeah.
And then I love it, not holding it for a long period of time, because again, we can do that, right? If you don't talk about it, then where does it go? Nowhere. Right. And then when you get angry and frustrated again, what happens? I remember last time too. So you just be checking them off. Got a checklist every time. Right. So I'd be like Shate too, boy. I'd be like, okay.
Oh, that, and when you said that, I thought about it's almost like your parent. They don't whoop you those other 2 times because they raised.
And then you get wore out. You be like, damn,
And like you said, that's what happens. You just, it's that explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we think that that's actually, we think that is anger management.
Not dealing with it?
You're not dealing with it. We're like, oh, but I'm dealing with it. That's anger management because I didn't explode. Right. But where did it go?
Right.
Right. Yeah. You stuck it in your pocket.
Feelings buried alive don't die.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Ever.
Tupac said they just retaliate with hate, then they multiply. That's Tupac. That's Tupac. But on the communication piece, it's so powerful.
That's our music session.
That's our music because it's music history too. Scripture says, "Be angry and sin not." So even the idea that it's okay to be angry, as Sherrod was saying, it's probably a natural part of our human progression. Be angry and sin not. But then there's also a piece about a kind word turns away anger, right?
Yep.
And so as we talk about how to try to deal with, anger and how to move into healthy anger management, I think some of the things we've been demonstrating on the call become tools that we can put in the tool belt. Like a merry heart doeth good like a medicine, right? Like my grandfather finds humor in every single night, and I think that's a key to his longevity. We don't laugh enough. We don't spend time when we're so serious, and so we get in this energy of seriousness. We don't communicate with one another, and we're not real with ourselves. We don't honor, even to that point about isolating yourself with your family. What stood out to me was it's you killed is that the conversation's going on in your head. And Shartae said what you think about the thing is what has the impact. So a lot of the times guys will face very real issues, and because you don't talk them out with your spouse or whoever is in your life, you don't talk them out with somebody, you end up acting and moving in spaces that are self-destructive. Whereas that's why the scripture says confession is good for the soul. Not a whole forgive me, Father, I have sinned. That's but like also like, yo, I'm thinking about this. I got this thing going on. Sometimes just having the discussion will disappear it or help you feel better. So those are some of the things that were standing out to me as we were in this discussion about communication and being constructive, particularly about what Andre said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it's powerful. You guys dropped some knowledge. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all, man. I think Sherrod said at some point, it's like, we as men, we don't really talk about our emotions. And I honestly, it's because we weren't taught. It's not something that we're taught. If anything, we're taught not to talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's so great about the Brothers in Influence movement is because we have a heart to be intergenerational.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so where we're cultivating healthful habits, we're cultivating a space, we're creating spaces where, it's like the Lord made put together a table before us in the presence of our enemies. Because it's like we live in it's a hostile environment being Black in America in a lot of sense, right? But it's creating spaces like these where we can kind of talk through these things. We can identify what is healthy and what isn't, and begin to develop the habits that we need in order to not only survive but thrive. Because we've been surviving for a long time. We got gold medals of survival. You know what I'm saying? We win in the survival Olympics in a lot of ways, at least in certain spaces. Man. But we need to be able. We want you to be able to thrive, and that's because it's something that we're striving for as individuals and collectively as a Brothers in Influence podcast and movement and so on and so forth. So that's why we're having these conversations about healthy anger management, and so we want to be, when it comes our time, and we want to be able to bridge the gap with our young people and teach them these things that we learned, whether we learned them the hard way or we benefited from the wisdom of our collective connection here, or whatever the case may be from coaches and mentors that we have had. You know, so wherever it is, leaders are learners, and so when we talk about life, leadership, and community, we're just trying to cultivate the space where we can all win. Like Lorenzo says, we win with Lorenzo.
That's right.
Yeah. And were you gonna say something, Rod? Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say you dropped something that just kind of resonated with me when you said, we've been in survivor mode. So it's interesting, right, to have a survivor's mindset. And if we've been doing that and living that for so long, right, there's just the overall impact that has. So now we got to shift our mindset from being a survivor to being a thriver. So how do you do that?
That's good.
Right. How do you do that? How do you make that shift? And I think, again, when we think about that, I think, again, anger management, right, that's the frustration. It's because it's almost a default now, because I'm always looking to trying to survive, trying to get the next buck, trying to get the next whatever it is that we're trying to survive through.
Yeah.
But we're trying to get towards thriving, but I don't know how. Or it's just not working the way that I thought it was going to work. Or I don't have any help. Or you said, I mean, the list is endless, right, of the things that come up when we think about that. So I just wanted to, that just resonated with me real big when you said that, because, I mean, here's the reality, right? We all are surviving, right? If we think we are or not, we are, right? At some point, you're going to go into survival mode. And we already know when it becomes survival mode, it's whatever. Whatever I need to do to make sure that I survive is what's going to happen. Right. So there's lack of control. I mean, I don't know. That just hit big with me for some reason.
When you say, I think what you say, lack of control, reactive. We're often reactive.
Yeah, there you go. We don't respond, we react.
Yeah, we reacting. And so, I mean, survival is not a way of life. Surviving is not a way of life, right? It's a mode that we should keep in our back pocket, because sometimes we do need to be able to switch into survival mode.
Right. But that's how a majority of us are living, is in that survival mode, not intentionally.
And we're speaking directly to those mindsets. Like there's other ways to live. You know, there's learning how to move in and out of it as needed. It's a part of healthy living. It's a part of healthy anger management. And as I've said on the podcast before, like, anger is a secondary emotion. So when we talk about our emotions, like, what is the underlying feeling that you're having? Because anger can be several things. It can be a defense mechanism. You know, so many of us, for example, like when I was in corporate, I used to have to check myself and be like, you know what? If I say this, I don't want to come off like the angry black man. You know what I'm saying? I had to. And that was one of the ways I kind of checked myself in a way. And there's pros and cons, right? Because to a degree in that space, I didn't feel like I could be 100% myself. I didn't, and it just speaks to the lack of trust that I felt from those, and that goes both ways: me trusting them and them trusting me. But that's, in a way, that's like a survival thing. In my head, I have to go out. Oh, I gotta hold my tongue. I gotta figure out another way to say it. It may take me 60 days to come up with another way to say something I gotta say, because I don't want to come off as an angry black man. And and it doesn't mean that and that's when I'm right about something. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'd be justified in saying what I gotta say. But that's like a survival thing. And so, and then we have those of our brothers and sisters, and there's a time in my life, right? You just walking around angry. But it's because you've been hurt, you've been taken advantage of, you've been betrayed, people have let you down, you ain't been able to count on nobody. Everything around you is a threat. That's survival. Yeah. And so where do we move into thriving? Well, you gotta find spaces where you feel you gain life from, right? You have to go to a place where you can be given life. And then that's what we have created. I won't say trying to create. We have created with the Brothers of Influence podcast, connecting with these brothers on week to week. And now not only connecting week to week, but having them on speed dial, being able to text and reach out to them is life-giving to me.
Yeah, me too.
It's life-giving. And I need that outlet. It's something that I will protect and I will guard, so that so that I can be thriving. Because without it, there's no telling where I would, I would not be able to express myself. And I'd have to constantly be regulating and like, oh, I don't want to come off this way. I don't want to come off that way. Messing around and having, being in corporate and having the code switch. But now I'm at this place, God has blessed us and given me the grace to create this so that we can have a space where I can be 100% me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have that, like if you don't have where you can let your hair down and you know what I'm saying, for lack of a better phrase, and just be who you are, your unique, fearfully, wonderfully made self.
Mm-hmm.
Then first of all, we want to welcome you into the Brothers in Influence podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And if this ain't it for you, we will support you and help you to find that place. And as I say, my name is Ian Williams, your purpose coach. That's a big part of what I do. It's helping you connect with your values and who you are, so that you can begin living the life that you were meant to live. Mm-hmm. And that's an abundant life. That's not where you're lacking in spaces to be yourself, where you're gonna be finding yourself. You're gonna look up and be like, 90% of my life, the spaces where I belong, and I can be 100% who I am, and I ain't got a code switch. I ain't got to act a certain type of way, and whatever that looks like. I think I put a post up. I said, faithful, nerdies, blackity black, whatever.
Not blackity black. Black.
Yeah,
that's real.
I can be whatever the combination of that looks like. That's me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And there's so many spaces in my life, just growing up and becoming who I am, where I just haven't. I've been like, okay, I can let this aspect of me out. But then I go over here and I can let this aspect. I was talking to somebody yesterday. They was like, man, you had a party and all your people was there. It's like, man, I'd be afraid to have all of my different people in the same place because they from different background and we got different interests. I'm like, nah, man, I'm tired. I ain't nobody. You gonna rock with me? Ain't no compartment.
I am tired. I respect.
I'm smoking on the bar on the smoker. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna eat.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be up there singing. I'll be singing gospel 1 minute, rapping the next minute with my slugs in. You know what I'm saying? talking about the latest Marvel comic.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I'm gonna be down there enjoying it too.
But hey, bro, I want to jump like real quick, man, because you dropped something that was I think is key, because you said again, when it comes to anger, there's that underlining, right? That again, that underlining component that again, you don't know how to express. And when I heard you say that, the first thing that came to me was this, our vocabulary, right? Knowledge, learning. The more we're able to learn and build just the knowledge of anything, right? We're able to express those different things better. Yeah. Right. So that's why learning and knowledge is so important, right? Because even to the point, like you said, I just want to be myself. But if you don't even know how to express that in words, then of course it's going to come out in anger, frustration, right? But again, once we build that level of knowledge and wisdom and understanding and all those different things, I'm not saying that you got to be that in order to, but what I'm saying is, in order to express yourself, the more you know, the better you'll be able to do it.
Exactly. So that's part of our mission, man, to help you improve your vocabulary as far as your emotional, mental, psychological wellness is concerned.
And vocabulary towards, again, when we think about anger management, right? Mm-hmm. So your vocabulary towards anger management, again, so how do you describe your anger? What's the one word, right? Or what's the words, or how do you put it together? Someone asks you, like, why are you angry? Right. And this is sometimes you just don't know, because you're just like, I don't even know how to explain this to you. I'm just pissed. Well, okay, well, that's a word. Okay.
No, you know what? Right? That's one of those things. Like you gotta become a student. I say a student of yourself. My wife would say you gotta become your own private investigator.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because the feelings are there. You know what I mean? They're there, whether you know what they are or not. And so you're automatically at a disadvantage strategically.
Yeah. And you know that's so.
When we talk about that, you're your own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth of that, right? Yeah. When you are you feel some type of way, and you can't even identify what it is.
Yeah.
You can't even help yourself.
Right, and that's actually real good, brother, because you basically said again, just self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
Literally, that's the silver bullet. The more you're self-aware of who you are and what makes you tick, right? Then you know what what to be in, what not to be in, where to be, where not to be, right? What environments. I mean, when you're self-aware, you know what works, what does not work, right? But that's not just a one-time situation. That's just not a one-time conversation. That's not a one-time get the assessment. I look through the DISC assessment, which I'm referring to. You to get the DISC assessment, you go through a thing, and then you're done with it. I read mine every day. I find out something new about myself every day. Why? Because I'm not the same person I was yesterday that I am today, and I'm not going to be the same person I am tomorrow that I am today. Why? Because, again, I had this conversation. Right now, I got a different mindset. I got a different, we can go deep into that. But again, self-awareness is a great silver bullet to anger management.
Absolutely, yeah. And give yourself permission to feel. Some of us we don't feel like we have the permission to feel, and really we robbed ourselves. And it may not be rooted. It may not have originally come from us, but ultimately we have not given ourselves permission to feel. And that does not mean that emotions aren't there. It just means whether you're avoiding them or you try to check, you just checking out. Give yourself, and that, like when they talk about the grieving process, right? You go through the grieving process. Grief is healthy. If you don't give yourself permission to go through the process, you are going to stunt your own growth. You stunt your own growth. My wife posted a meme the other day, and where it talks about how a lot of people think it was a jar and a ball. A lot of people think when we deal with grief that the ball gets smaller, the grief being the ball, little black ball. The ball gets smaller over time, but that's not true. And it had another line that said it's that we get bigger, growing, and we grow around. So the jar expanded around the ball. It's not that grief disappeared. It's not that grief shrunk. It's still there. You're still feeling it, but you grew around it. But we have to give ourselves permission for that sort of process and maturity and health.
Yeah. I know we're gonna wrap up. I wanted to share another story because I got 3 kids today. That's why I've been over here but okay. So I kind of been talking to you guys about my job and stuff. So I got another story. So because I know one of the things we were going to kind of deal with real quick was something we wish we had known. And so I'm going to bridge that gap with this story. So I told the first story, and that kind of dealt with life, that first story, since we're talking about life, leadership, and community with everything we do. And so now I'm going to dive into the leadership aspect. And I had to have a talk with my boss today. And it's like, I've been on the job for 5 years, and recently he's been constantly on me as if I'm just new to the job. And I've been letting it go and been so today I'm like, hey, so this is what it is. Cause I went to a job and the guy said I said something that I didn't, but it was actually a miscommunication. But he came to me as if that's what it was. I told this guy something that as an employee I shouldn't be doing, of course. But he didn't ask me. It was why did I? You know what I'm saying? And so I had that conversation. And so I'm saying this to say that I talked about who I was, how I would deal with anger. This time I dealt with it, and so I didn't get to that point, because although this has been happening for a few months now, but I dealt with it. And one of the things I instantly get is now, and I'm in the car with my daughter, so it's like I'm getting loud or like I'm getting angry, and I'm like, I'm one of the humblest people you ever know. I have no reason to get loud, but I'm making my point because I'm letting you know how I feel about how you're treating me.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I learned from the first example I gave, that guess what? I didn't want to deal with it. Let me just go and see if I can get away from it. And what I know now is that I have to deal with the situation so I don't get to that point that there is a blow up, or that there is, I make the situation more than it needs to be. And so what am I glad I know now is that guess what? Anger isn't one thing I'm glad is that anger isn't a bad thing. It is not, it is neither good nor bad. It is what I make it.
Come on, bro.
So that's my thing. I'm glad I know that now, because I'm not going to allow anger to cause me grief. I'm not going to allow anger to make a situation worse than it has to be.
Right.
So that's one thing I'm glad, I wish I had learned then, because I gave an example, but that wasn't the end of the example, because we still had to have a conversation, and things still had to be spoken out or spoken about. And guess what? I made it more than it ended up being more than it had to be because of my actions. But with this situation today, you know what? It's time. The thing was, it's time to deal with it, because yeah, I had been letting it go, but guess what? Now it's going to be a problem. Now I'm going to revert back to the other thing, and then it's going to really cause a problem. So wish I would have known that what anger really was, that it's not good, it's not bad. Anger is what you make it. It is. Anger is going to manifest itself based on how healthy I am emotionally. I think that's what Sherrod was saying earlier. We mentioned emotion. So,
bro, yeah, you teaching advanced adulthood right there, bro. I mean, but you ain't. The thing about it is you don't have to be an adult to learn this, right? If you heard what he just said, like, this is something you can take to heart even as a young person. It's that definitely. Anger is natural, right? But it's not the end. It's not the end of the road. Like if you've gotten there, let that clue you in. Like, oh man, if I'm angry, like, where is this coming from? Like, really start investigating. Like, investigate your emotions. That is a healthy tool for your belt. It's a tool to help you maintain health, actually. Start to investigate the emotions. And if you run across something that you don't know how to identify how you feel, take time and really try to figure it out. Like, if you need to, like I've said before, like, print out a list of emotions and like just scroll, use your finger, go down through the list and say, which one of these is it? I may never even have said this before, may never heard it before. But once you find it, you are empowering yourself. It's self-empowerment, because at that point you at the end of the gun, right? Until you take control, until you switch, now you in control. If not, those emotions they are terrible backseat drivers.
Terrible. That just goes to what you were saying earlier about just the permission to feel, right? Again, if you give yourself permission to feel it, then you'll know how to deal with it.
Exactly.
Right. Because then at that particular point, it's not new. Right. It'll be new the first time, but it won't be new the second time. Right. Or the third time. Right. So then you're able to then gain control over it, because it's not going to go away. Right. And what I heard Shate talk about was basically, if you're not willing to face it, you can't change it.
Yes.
Right. You're not willing to face it, you can't change it. So which means, again, giving yourself permission to feel it. So if you face it, you're giving yourself permission, and that's okay. that is okay. I'm telling you from experience, that is okay. Because there'll be times now that I'll get angry, get frustrated, but I'm so glad of the experiences that I've had. Now, someone was stupid, right? Someone was stupid, and I got some witnesses, right? Some real true live witnesses that I can bring into this room right now, and they'd be like, Yeah, he was mad. I don't know why, but he was mad. Right. Now, it wasn't my greatest time, wasn't anything that I'm proud of, and I'm trying to sit there and try to wear that like a badge of honor. But what I will wear like a badge of honor right now is the fact that I learned from the experience.
Yeah.
Right. And now I'm giving myself, and if I could do what my brother said, I'm giving myself permission to feel it. Right.
Yes.
Because that's the only way I'm going to learn from it. Only way I'm going to learn from it. And then what I learn, I gotta apply it. Right. Learn and then apply it. That's knowledge. That's wisdom. And it all comes from our experiences.
Yeah, bro.
Heavy.
Hey, y'all killing. Y'all
Heavy.
killing. Hey, listen, I just want to give a shout out. I want to give a couple shout outs, right? First of all, to our brother Lorenzo. He had to bounce. Lorenzo Daughtry Chambers. You can find him on social media. Win with Lorenzo. He's a coach, business and life, just like we are. He had to bounce because he had another engagement, apparently, another event. So it's all good. I also want to give a shout out to our brother Andre in the chat. Again, he dropped another comment. Just giving us a shout out, man. This is encouraging. I appreciate y'all. Those of you that are rocking with us, you know what I'm saying? Let us know what you're thinking or what statements you have or what questions you have. And if you take the time like my brother Andre here, it means a lot to us just to let us know that you're hearing us, you understand it. Whether you agree or disagree, that's okay. We're just here to support, you know what I'm saying? We're open to have conversations around any of the topics. So thank you, brother Andre, for joining the conversation today. Mm-hmm. Also want to give a shout out to Cedric LaFleur, the man with the plan.
I know that guy.
Just, you know what I'm saying? You know, Nike should be paying him because, you know, as much as he get it done, just do it. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those guys that just gets it done. Cedric LaFleur, he is also in the same vein as us. But he tuned in, so I want to give a shout out to him, man. We're going to have him on the show at some point in the future. I just need to have a conversation and see where it's going to go. But I mean, he has a lot to offer. He's a mentor on social media, so even just by following him, you're going to get value. So, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So like I think he's actually quoting Sherrod here. The more you know, the better you will be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to our very own Leadership Locksmith for dropping jewel. and another thank you from bro Andre. Thank you, man. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, bro.
Please continue to comment, join us on the discussion. Share the podcast if you can. You know, and we love and appreciate you, bro. And we know you got a lot to offer too. So maybe we could have a conversation outside of this and get you on an episode. So just let me know if you're interested. So final thoughts, brothers, as we wrap up. How y'all feeling?
I feel great. I feel great. And part of that is, and I always say this, you know, just being, you know, not only hand in hand with you guys, but heart to heart with you guys. And just like, and I got other brothers that's the same thing. So, and I just appreciate you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that we have a place, and we started this place not here. We started before this even manifests. We started this just us,
right?
And we knew the conversations we were having that they would be beneficial to others. So great. I'm a great father, becoming greater every day.
Love it. Yeah, same, man. It's just again, I just love the conversations, right? Because again, I mean, it just goes back, right? If you're not willing to face it, you can't change it, right? So anger is definitely one of those things. Everything that we've been talking about on all, what is 13? What is this, 14? 13.
It's 15.
It's 15? Bro.
15.
Right. So everything we've been, how I missed that? 15? Okay. Well, I'm slow, but I'm worth waiting on though. But I mean, everything we've talked about in all these different episodes have just been, I mean, they've been blessing me. So I know if they've been blessing me, they have to be blessing other people. Right. So I just appreciate, again, in just echoing what Shate said, man, just the fact that, again, we took these conversations that were offline and now we put them online, right? And I think it's just going to be continually be just a blessing to me, but then a blessing to others, and just the impact, right? And I would love just to hear just feedback from other people on, if they're getting something from it, or if they want us to talk about something. I think we should do that one time. Just have them just give us some topics, man, and just see where it goes, because it's good stuff. So,
yes, sir. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in for the episode 15 of the Brothers in Influence podcast. Today we talked about healthy anger management. And, anger is a healthy part of the human experience. We want you to know that first and foremost. It is not right or wrong. But we just want to encourage you to manage it, to recognize it first, that how you feel, begin to grow in self-awareness so that we can take control and not let our emotions control us. And we can all be better as we get better together here at the Brothers in Influence podcast. We invite you back next week on Monday at 6:15 p.m. We'll be rocking out and maybe even continue this conversation, because I feel like we got a lot more to say. All right. We love y'all. Peace.